welcome everyone to day 2, working through the King James Bible with myself, Janet. I am working through chapters 4 to 7 today. So just to give you a quick recap of yesterday's lessons, we covered 1 to 3, chapters 1 to 3, which basically was showing God creating the world, everything in the world, man and woman, placed them in the Garden of Eden with the tree of life and the tree of knowledge. He told them, do not eat from the tree of knowledge no matter what, and just have a beautiful life, left them to it. And then also all of a sudden the serpent comes into play, and the serpent is the one that basically convinces Eve to eat from the tree of knowledge, which she does. Then she gives it to Adam. Adam eats as well, and then the Lord comes, finds out, what have you done? Because they are suddenly aware that they're naked, so they're covering themselves. And this is when he curses them basically to... Firstly, for Eve, she will conceive and multiply. And Adam, she will always be under, and Adam is to constantly till the earth. And they are expelled from the Garden of Eden, and that's it. We're left at that place. There we are. So this takes us into chapter 4 to 7. So I will give the rundown of chapter 4 to 7 as I have taken it. Now, remember, this Bible is super condensed. So there's a lot of information to take, so apologies if I miss out any key points for any of you that really know the Bible really well. This is just my first run through it. I am reading through what I can, and this is what I've taken from reading these chapters. Okay, so chapter 4, we have it where Eve gives birth now to Cain and Abel, which you may have heard of. Cain and Abel is a famous brothers, known by a lot of people, and there's even a film made about these two. So yeah, it's a really good film. If you want to check it out and check online, I'm sure you'll find the details for that. So Cain is a tiller of the ground, and Abel is a keeper of sheep. And so Cain is tilling the ground, and he offers up this to the Lord, who is very respectful of Cain, loves Cain for doing that. Abel, he gives up his cattle to the Lord, and the Lord doesn't really respect that. It's sort of, there's no real respect there. Why? It's not really shown. How I see it is that maybe it's because Abel is just offering up flesh, which is not what the Lord put man on earth to do. He wanted man to take care of the earth more than anything else. So maybe that is why. I don't know. That is just my sideline take on it, because it's not actually explained in the Bible why that is. So there we have it. So as this is happening, that Cain's getting the respect and Abel isn't, Abel gets jealous of Cain. So he goes to his brother and they have an argument, and this causes Cain to be killed by Abel because he is that jealous. That's what he does. And so the Lord then comes and asks, where is Cain, Abel? And Abel says, I am not my brother's keeper. A famous phrase that I'm sure you've heard many a times. And so the Lord eventually finds out that Cain has been killed because of the earth. The blood is in the earth, which God is then aware of. And he said, you are now cursed, Abel, for doing this to your brother. You are cursed. You will become a fugitive and a vagabond. Now this is too much for Abel to take, because he fears he is going to be killed for what he has done. And so the Lord says to Abel that anybody who tries to kill you will be cursed sevenfold. So then Abel leaves, and he goes to the land of Nod, east of Eden. That's where he goes. He has himself a wife, and she then conceives Enoch. And he builds a city after the son's name, Enoch. And Enoch, after his son, then they had Irad and Muha and Methuselah and Lamech. I don't think I've pronounced all those correctly, but those are the other 4 children that they have. And Lamech, one of the children, has 2 wives, Edha and Zillah, or Zillah, if that's correct. I am really sorry. Read this yourself. Read chapter 4 yourself to get the correct pronunciation of these names. So yes, these 2 wives give birth to 2 sets of children, 2 brothers, a brother and a sister. And then all of a sudden Lamech announces to his wives that he has killed somebody, and then he is cursed sevenfold. And so the whole story kind of goes back to Adam and Eve. And Eve then gives birth to two more sons, Seth in replace of Abel, and Enos. So there we have it. These are the men that then will be under the Lord. And we go into chapter 5 now. So chapter 5 is basically covering the creation of man and woman, how we are multiplying. So it's going through how Adam begets Seth, Seth beget Enos, and it goes on and on and on, Lamech, and then it goes towards where we have Noah, and Noah beget Shem, and Shem beget Ham, and then Japheth. So that is what chapter 5 is basically covering, all of these. So this is where you would need to read it yourself. The links are under this video for all of the chapters, so you've got the information there to check that out, to get the true details by reading this yourself. So we move on to chapter 6 now, where man began to multiply. So we're seeing all these sons and daughters, and the Lord said, "My spirit shall not always strive with man, for he is also flesh," which I think is an important part that we have to know. We are not sort of, God is that omnipresent, we are of a flesh, a body, which has knowledge in it now, and this is where I feel the problems have arisen. So I wanted to just read from the Bible, because God is now starting to see what man is creating with this knowledge within himself. "And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them." But for some reason, amongst all of that, Noah has grace with God. He sees grace in Noah. So he sees goodness in him. And he decides, okay, Noah, I see goodness in you, but I am going to destroy everything else on earth that I have created. I wish to destroy it all. So what I want you to do, because I'm going to do this, I want you to build an ark. So he asks Noah to build an ark, and in that ark he said, take your wife and your children, and I want you to take 2 of every living thing that is creepeth on the earth, a male and a female, so that they can then bring forth a new world. I guess that's how I'm seeing it. So that's what God asks Noah to do, to build this ark, get 2 by 2 ready to get onto this ark. So that takes us through chapter 6. Now we move on to chapter 7. So he's told Noah to build the ark. So Noah builds the ark. He's ready, and he says, okay, Noah, in 7 days' time, I am going to bring a flood that is going to last for 40 days and for 40 nights. And it will occur. So get everybody on board. So he does. Everybody's on board, ready, on the ark. And in 7 days, exactly as God said, here comes the floods, which go right over. It lifts the ark up off the ground, so they're all safe on the ark, and it covers the mountain, and it kills everything on the earth. And the waters prevail. The waters, remember, as I said yesterday, water was a very significant thing that was there at the very beginning of creation. And here it is now, washing away all of the corruption that man has made. And the waters prevail upon the earth 150 days. So that is where we end chapter 7. So for me, looking back through what we've just covered in chapters 1 to 7, it's showing you the world that it was created, which was perfect. So good at the beginning, so good, all of the things that was in creation. And when things turned is when Eve, well, the serpent initially came and created this temptation in Eve to go for and eat the fruit of the tree of knowledge, which will give you awareness, so you will know in your mind. And it's like, oh, what is that? I don't know. Curiosity, remember, killed the cat, that kind of thing. It's like curiosity brought down this demise. And it went in, it caused the demise of Eve, of Adam, and it's just created this completely spiraling. And it's like knowledge, it's showing us that knowledge, our minds, is where a lot of, well, it's where corruption is, isn't it? It's where we have division, it's where we have the fighting. And all of this division in the world, this is where all the problems occur. So it really shows you in the Bible this, to me, this is something to be aware of. And it's just in these first chapters, we can see already how it impacts the world that we live in today. So what do you feel after reading these 7 chapters? Has it brought anything into your life? Can you see anything in your life where there's like a comparison that you can make, and how can you maybe change things in the way that we're meant to live? We're meant to live from the heart, not from the mind. I do feel in a lot of the times that I've studied so many different things that it is the mind that is always the thing that causes the suffering in the world. If we can live from the heart, that is where the goodness truly comes from. Because I think the heart is where it's connected to the source, that which surrounds us all. That is where we're guided. We're guided from a place inside rather than in some kind of illusion that the mind is foreseeing and creating. So there we are. We have covered now 1 to 7, chapter 7 in the book of Genesis, and we will continue on tomorrow, moving on to chapter 8 and beyond. So I'll see you then. Thank you. I hope this has been helpful for you, and I hope to see you tomorrow too. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye.